cube. It's a bit grey. Hello everybody and welcome to today's episode of the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. It is good to be back. It's been time. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, you might have noticed last week took a bit of a hiatus. We did drop a video, however, it was in the middle of the Alps in a camper van with my good old friend Cameron Jeffers. Went out there to film some content for his channel. Listen, Cam versus Chris, part number 3 is coming soon. I don't want to spoil the result. Let's just say that there is a distinct winner between the two of us. And that video will be coming soon, so if you don't already, head over to Cameron Jeffers' channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when his video goes live. Some great content from the Alps we filmed, some amazing videos coming out from his channel over the next couple of weeks, I dare say. Prior to that, we also did our first ever live draw for the Win Your Dream Bike competition, and Richard Carmen won a brand new Pinarello F12. When we spoke to him last week in the Alps, he was so bloody excited.
Honestly, my face hurts, Chris, from smiling so much. It's just, I couldn't believe it, honestly. It's just brilliant, honestly, yeah.
Now, if you want to experience the feelings that Richard felt, make sure you get involved in August's draw, which is now live. Well, it was live last week, but this is me telling you about it for the first time. A Trek Madone is available to the winner of Win Your Dream Bike this month, as well as some amazing prizes. We went even bigger and better. So another prize up for grabs to somebody is a Cameron Jeffers bundle. So essentially we took all of Cameron's main sponsors, put them together in a package to give to one of you lucky people, which includes a Ribble SLR, the same one Cameron Jeffers rides, as well as that, a year's insurance via VeloSure. Alongside that, there's a year's subscription of Strong Supplies supplements, so you can make sure that you're at top level when it comes to your training. And as ever, some Cameron Jeffers Pongo socks. That's just one prize on its own. Can you bloody believe that? No, I can't, Chris. I didn't think you could. Surely there's no more prizes. Yeah, there is. So not only could you win a Trek Madone, not only could you win a Ribble SLR, that's 2 bikes we're giving away this month. But on top of that, you could also win a stack of Katusha clothing. There's also a year's supply of Strong Supplies nutrition, not supplements, but nutrition to give away. On top of that, we've also got a year's subscription to the finest of finest coffee beans around for cyclists. Grand Tour Coffee are giving away a year's subscription to one of you lucky devils for some of the most amazing coffee. So if you want to be involved in that, link down in the description. Head over to winyourdreambike.com. No, it's not open for international people just yet, but we're working on that. So just bear with us on that one. But if you're in the UK and you're over 18 and you want to win one of these amazing prizes, then head over there now. Guys, got a lot to talk about in today's show, so without further ado, let's get into news. Oosh. First up, let's talk indoor news, and Wahoo have just announced today that there is a brand new kicker coming to market. Let's take a look. Whoa, look at that. It looks exactly the same as the last one. I mean, there's a few subtle differences, and we're going to go into the details of this, but yeah, essentially, I mean, hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the KICKR has always been a relatively sexy-looking indoor smart trainer. However, the press release coming out from Wahoo today says the new KICKR is the same smart trainer used by World Tour teams INEOS and Bora Hansgrohe, are bringing to market several new features on this brand new KICKR. This version of the KICKR is going to refine its power accuracy to plus or minus 1%, down from the plus or minus 2% of previous models. This is down to essentially an auto calibration process. So now you never have to actually calibrate your KICKR anymore. It's going to do it itself. This gives the KICKR unsurpassed power accuracy without the need for the user to perform a spin down, saving valuable time if you can be bothered to do it, which I never do, and providing riders confidence in accuracy of their power data. Now, additionally, to create a more natural, comfortable ride feel, the new KICKR, here's the kicker, comes equipped with the new Axis feet. You can see those feet slightly bigger, slightly wider than the previous version, and this is going to allow the bike to be installed onto the trainer to smoothly tilt up to 5 degrees from side to side with each pedal stroke in a controlled, realistic motion. Like the previous KICKR, the version is nearly silent, which is one of the biggest selling points about this amazing bloody trainer, the fact that it's so quiet. This kicker is going to also be used alongside the rest of the ecosystem, so you're going to be able to use it with the KICKR Climb, and it's going to retail for a similar price as the previous kicker, around £1,000 here in the UK, $1,200 US. Now, I'll be honest, there should be a kicker somewhere in this room, and I should have been testing it by now. However, it's just not arrived yet. There is a new kicker coming to the Chris Pritchard Cycling News Show. When it does come, I'm going to jump on it, ride it for a good 5 or 10 minutes, and give you a very, very beige overview on what is going to be an amazing brand new smart trainer. So expect a half-hearted review on that coming. No, I'm joking. I will give it a good thorough test, and I'll bring you my findings. But hey, you know we're supported here by Wahoo, so it's going to be totally biased. I'm going to say only good things about it, and the bad things I'll say are those things that essentially don't really mean anything. It's essentially a paid reviewing. Well, it's a paid promotion rather than a review. But anyway, that's coming up soon. Now, let's get straight on to some racing news. All right, then, let's get into the racing news. And I'll be honest, I don't even know where to start with this. So much has happened in such a short space of time. I'm going to try and cover all the major stories coming out of the World Tour scene. I guess we should start with, I mean, it's been covered plenty of times by now. People have obviously seen it already, and that's the update to Fabio Jakobsen. Had a massive crash at the Tour of Poland. So the latest update on Fabio Jakobsen is he's out of his coma now, and there looks to be no major neurological problems with him. And the doctor at DeConing Quick-Step actually said he should make a recovery enough to be able to go back racing. But at the minute, who cares about even thinking about him going back racing? The fact that he could potentially make a full recovery, whether he goes back racing, whether he can even be competitive in racing after such a massive crash is a question for the future. But as it stands now, amazing news coming out from the tragic incident that happened with him. And I mean, we could talk all day about what needs to be done in this situation to make it safer. I mean, it goes without saying that you don't have a downhill sprint, but there's so many different talking points when it comes to this about rider safety, rider etiquette, and then obviously what's going on the outside with those barriers. Can you ever make a sprint 100% safe? No, is the answer to that. You can never make it 100% safe. And what is the beauty of this is the fact that there is danger. I mean, no one wants to get hurt like he did. But at the same time, these riders know the situation and know the risk, don't necessarily expect anything like that to happen, but it can happen. Like, look, Groenewegen holds his line and everybody gets over the line safely and no one's even talking about this. Like, I think we are at a point now where we're still using, barriers that we used in the 70s and the 80s, and speeds have just crept up and up and up and up and up and just got faster and faster and faster. And the safety around those sprints hasn't changed one bit. You might see a bit of foam here or there, but essentially nothing's changed. And I think it's from this incident now that something will change, will happen, and I have no idea what, but they seriously need to take a look at it and change up, because it's just not good enough. So sticking with the Tour of Poland, and very, very bittersweet for DeConing Quick-Step. On one hand, you had obviously that horrendous incident with Fabio Jakobsen, but on the other, you had I don't know what to say about this kid, Remco Evenepoel, taking the overall victory, making it 4 stage wins in his 2020 career so far. I mean, what can't this kid do? It's mental. But not only that, the final stage 5, came down to a sprint, and in honour of Fabio Jakobsen, Davide Ballerini made this was an amazing move to cut through the small gap here. Again, he gets through. Everyone's fine. Everyone's happy. Had that little move there, caused an incident. Then all hell will be breaking out about this guy and his erratic riding. But thankfully, again, nice, clean, safe passes through there. And DeConing Quick-Step not only took the final stage victory, but also the GC with Remco Evenepoel. Saturday saw Milan-San Remo take place, and it was another victory for another amazing rider in Wout van Aert for Jumbo Visma. The final came down to a 2-up sprint between Wout van Aert and that man who he gets everywhere, Julian Alaphilippe, but it was Wout van Aert who managed to take the victory, adding the Milan-San Remo to his previous week's efforts at Strade Bianchi. So between Wout van Aert and Remco Evenepoel, where's Mathieu van der Poel? It's about time he wins something. Il Lombardia. My money's on him for that. Next up, and let's talk about the Tour de l'Ain. This is where we saw a lot of the potential GC contenders for the Tour de France battling it out, and I don't know. We spoke about this before, but it looks like Jumbo-Visma might be the new Team INEOS. Jumbo-Visma were clearly in control of this race. They were clearly bossing and dictating the pace and not leaving it up to Team INEOS. In fact, I don't even think Team INEOS were capable of being able to do what Jumbo-Visma were doing during the Tour de l'Ain. And during this final stage on stage 3, did we see Team INEOS essentially finding out who is going to be the team leader? As Geraint Thomas was used up as a domestique, Chris Froome was used up as a domestique, and it came down to Egan Bernal to try and fight it out for the victory. Well, I say he tried to fight it out. 18 seconds was the gap in the overall general classification. In third place was Nairo Quintana, a further 10 seconds back, but then behind him you had Kruijswijk and George Bennett, both making the top 5. To find the next Team INEOS rider, you had to go all the way down to 13th place, 7 minutes 39 seconds behind. I don't know, is it still too early to be predicting this? Are Team INEOS sandbagging? Are they pretending that they're not in as good a form as they really are? It's a mind game that's worked for Dave Brailsford a lot of times, but I don't think so. I think they look like they're on the back foot here. Jumbo-Visma with Tom Dumoulin, Primož Roglic, George Bennett, Steven Kruijswijk. They look like they've got a solid team, and they look like they're prepared to be cohesive together. And that's the big factor when it comes to the Tour de France. Who's out for themselves and who's out to work as a team for their sole leader. Anyway, I reached out to Lanterne Rouge, bloody amazing YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to his channel if you don't do already. Of course you do already. Anyway, I reached out to him and put the question to him, what does this mean for Team INEOS's Tour de France?
All right, Chris, I don't have long. So here's 60 seconds of what happened at Tour de l'Ain last week. Jumbo-Visma came there basically with their Tour de France squad. Tom Dumoulin looked fantastic. He looks pretty much back to his previous level. Roglic is in fine form. And so is Egan Bernal at INEOS. You ask me what the hierarchy is at INEOS right now? It's Egan Bernal right at the top. And there's been so much talk about Froome, his condition the whole time. But the thing that's not being spoken about right now is Geraint Thomas' condition. The last stage of Tour de l'Ain, Froome looked fine, in my opinion. Maybe not Tour de France winning form, but definitely a valuable addition to any team, particularly INEOS in the mountains. But Geraint Thomas wasn't looking that good, and if you look at the betting markets right now, they've moved to reflect that. Chris Froome is about the same price as Thomas now. That wasn't the case 3 to 4 weeks ago. And I've heard a lot of talk about, you can't read too much into this, INEOS know when to peak. Yes, that's true, but the first week of the Tour de France is like less than 3 weeks away, and it's not a normal Tour de France with an easy first 7 days. It's a hard first week with some genuine climbs in there. There's been talk about Froome not being taken at all, but if you look at his Instagram post from yesterday, he seems to definitely think he's going to the Tour de France. I think they should take him, and I think they should take Pavel Sivakov. He looks like the second strongest GC rider on the INEOS roster at the moment. But the Criterium du Dauphiné starts tomorrow. It's a very hard stage race this year. Hilly days every stage. So we're going to find out more about the condition of Froome and probably Dumoulin as well in the Dauphiné.
The start list is out for that, and you can see the Froome, Bernal, Castroviejo, Kwiatkowski, you've got Pavel Sivakov, G's in there, and Dylan van Baarle. Now, it's all good and well seeing those names and knowing that that is potentially going to be the Tour de France team for this year, or very similar to that. Obviously, you've got to throw Lou Rowe in there. He's always there regardless. But really, it doesn't really shed any light as to what Team INEOS are thinking. It doesn't really shed any light as to what's going to happen within the team dynamic, and who's going to be leading that team. But I think it's going to come down to the Dauphiné as to who actually goes, and potentially we might see one of those big names dropping out if they're not carrying the form that the team expect them to at the Tour de France. Now, look at Jumbo-Visma's team for the Dauphiné. You've got Dumoulin, Gesink, Steven Kruijswijk, you've got Sepp Kuss, Tony Martin, Primož Roglic, and Wout van Aert. I mean, that team right there is strong enough to win any race. literally any race. You've got a solid time trialing team there, as well as a climbing team. Throw George Bennett in there, and yeah, you've got one of the best teams in the world, and it's going to be so exciting. If this Tour de France goes ahead, we're going to see a change in the guard, I think. I don't think we're going to see Team INEOS dominant. I think we are going to see Jumbo-Visma take that mantle and stick it to them. I really do. But anyway, leave your comments down below on all the latest racing news. Let me know everything that I've missed out, which is a lot, and let me know your thoughts on everything that's going down and this build-up to the Tour de France. Who do you think is going to win the Dauphiné as well? All right, we're going to finish off with the biggest news of today. It's transfer news. Carl Friedrich Hagen is leaving Lotto Soudal. What? And he's heading to Israel Startup Nation. Finally, a news story where we can include him. If every single comment down below isn't Carl Friedrich Hagen, I will be annoyed. But yeah, if you look at the transfer list, you can see what Israel Startup Nation are starting to do. They're starting to build that team up around Chris Froome for next year, because not only have they signed him, they've also signed Daryl Impey, Patrick Bevin, and Sebastian Berwick. But that's not the biggest transfer news, and this is only a rumour at the minute. Annemiek van Vleuten has been linked to a potential move to Movistar in 2021. That'll be a massive coup for them if they can get her. On top of that, Romain Bardet is departing AG2R after 9 years with them. He's heading over to Sunweb. He's left a spot which is going to be filled by Greg Van Avermaet. So that's, again, a massive signing for AG2R, that Greg Van Avermaet is going to head over there after riding for, well, not really riding much for CCC this year. No one's really done much riding. But again, AG2R are going to have one of the best classics and one-day riders on their books now. Are we actually going to see them have some success in the classics? Who knows? Hopefully, with Greg Van Avermaet, you're always going to get top 5, and there's potential for more out of him, I'm sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button if you've not done already. Hit that subscribe button as well. Let's try and get to 30,000 subs as soon as we can. If you disliked it for whatever reason, then go screw yourself. Thanks for watching. Leave those comments down below, and I will see you soon. Boosh.